Hey friend, my name is Emmeline. Welcome to my channel. If you like a good Reddit story, please subscribe and like and share with your friends. And let's go into the story. Am I the a-hole for calling my wife fat? I, 34 male, work in a physically demanding field. Myself, my coworker are all fit people without a lot of body variety. My wife, 32 female, is fat. The thing is, she's always been fat the whole time I've known her. We dated when she was fat. We got married when she was fat. She knows she's fat. She's fat. And she's beautiful. I'm happy if she loses weight, and I'm happy if she stays where she is. I think she's the most beautiful woman in the world, as is. One of my coworker, Julia, 28 female, started complaining that she's too fat to be loved, and fat people don't get to be loved. Julia isn't fat. She's maybe 120 pounds. She works out 5 times a week and barely ever eats. I told her that wasn't true, that my wife was fat. She got really red in the face and started telling me I wasn't allowed to call my wife fat, that I was insulting her, and that my wife was beautiful and curvy. Kello, I'm assuming Kello is the wife, doesn't like being called curvy. She thinks it's a label used to avoid calling people fat because it's a dirty word to most people. I told Julia as much. Julia started threatening me to tell my wife I called her fat. She pulled up her Instagram and told me she was messaging Kello that I was being mean. I beat her to the punch and called my wife, put her on speaker, and asked if she was curvy or fat. Kello laughed and said, I hate that curvy shit. Fat and beautiful, baby. I thanked her and I told her I loved her and hang up. As soon as I hit end, Julia went mental. She started screaming that I was abusing my wife. When asked how, she said I was clearly brainwashing her into accepting the term fat to try to keep her complacent and from getting away from me. That no woman in her right mind could be okay with their husband calling them fat. I showed her a picture of my wife in a short shirt that had BBW on it. She bought it herself, by the way. She stormed off and hadn't spoken to me since. Now, I just walked in today to an email from HR requesting a meeting with me. I don't think it's a big deal. I have my wife's blogs for fat positivity, the shirt, and can easily call her for proof. But now, things are frigid at work. And Julia constantly gives me dirty looks, and when we are in the same room, she ignores me otherwise. So I'm just over here, scratching my head. Am I the a-hole for calling my wife fat? And let's go to a couple of people's feedback and before we go to the update. And I'll give my personal opinion a little bit after. Drama and a Headache says, the difference between your wife and Julia is that your wife loves herself. Julia can't even pretend to. Not the a-hole. Train of What says, yep, the HR thing is wild. Imagine fishing for validation from a man, your married coworker, going off on him for loving his wife, threatening to DM her, then reporting him to the a-hole. No, the a-hole. If anything, Julia may be upset because she can't blame her insecurity on the idea of being fat, or she uses this idea of body positivity to push others into expressing fat phobia she internalizes. I will admit, and this is Little Lion. I will admit, I was ready to say you're the a-hole based on the title, but even your wife herself calls herself fat. Julia just wants to be some kind of SGW, which is her problem. The fact that she reported it to HR is ridiculous and most likely is not going to hold much validity. How we choose to identify is up to each individual person. Your wife is totally okay with it identifying as fat and beautiful, and more power to her. Julia can go take a long work of a short pie. Not the a-hole. For my personal opinion, I feel like Julia was just, as the commenter and the feedback people said, Julia's just looking for, I guess she was fishing for compliments. Then when she didn't get what the compliments from a man who is not supposed to give them the compliments, like it's like does this pant make me look fat to your significant other? But that was a coworker, so he doesn't owe her anything. Like he doesn't owe her any type of like lie or comfort. And I think she got upset because he kind of destroyed her, saying like, oh, I'm fat, oh my god, nobody will love me. No, nobody will love you because you are not a good human being, but your weight is not going to count on 120 pounds. I'm pretty sure that Julia is beautiful, but like she's too insecure. And also one thing that I thought about was like, what was she hoping to accomplish? Like, let's say like the wife didn't like to be called fat, and some girl from her husband job send her a DM and like an Instagram message and be like, oh, your husband is calling you fat. Like, well, what was she going to get? Like, I don't get that part, but I think she just like honestly like trying to attack a person's marriage and livelihood with like her reporting him to HR is just another level of crazy and Karen, honestly. Okay, let's go into the update. So I met with HR at 4 today. Apparently, multiple co-workers who had overheard the conversation stopped by the HR through the day to give their side and weigh in. I wasn't in trouble. Yay. They just wanted my side of things. It checked out with what everyone else had to say too. I still don't know which of my crew stopped by, but I owe them my life. That's true, because honestly, you could lose your job if a person says stuff. And I'm pretty sure that Julia didn't necessarily give the right version of the things, but I'm going on a tangent. I offered to show my wife's blog, and our rep, who is really a nice girl, told me that if it didn't affect my work, it was irrelevant. The story had been corroborated enough by others. HR reiterated a lot of what y'all said, even though Julia initiated the conversation. I shouldn't have jumped in. It was less of a scolding and more of a request to keep my nose out of people's business. I'm sad because I thought Julia and I were friends. We talked about our mental health struggles, the hardship of the field we are in, and heavy things like that. Yeah. Some people say your work friends are not your friends, so be careful out here. Won't be having those conversations any further. Julia and I will no longer be paired on teams for patient care. I was told my part in the investigation was done and they thanked me. So I think I'm going to be okay. Before I left, I told HR if weight loss / body image wasn't supposed to be a topic of a conversation, they should consider enforcing that on a company level. We have a weight loss challenge. I suggest making it a fitness challenge instead. She said they'd take it into consideration. So that's it. I wrapped up my treatment. Everything will hopefully shake out. Haven't spoken to Julia, hoping to avoid her for the next future. Thank you all for the sanity check. Now to crew. I'm going home and sleeping with my wife. Well, that was a wild one. Let me know what you think in the comment section, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye-bye.